Okay, here's a topic that's like really important to me. The defund the police thing. People with a large amount of following who don't really understand the point of it spread a lot of misinformation about it. I feel like that's pretty dangerous, and it's unfair to the people who feel like they need to have this idea at the very least heard. Like me, for example, I feel like it's a really big problem in this country, and I feel like police brutality in general is a big problem in this country, and I feel like defunding the police would help the problem and really address some concerns in many communities. Now, the biggest misconception about it is that it gets twirled up with abolishing the police and the whole concept of law enforcement. Yeah, there are a few people who believe that, but for the most part, that's a very small minority, and it's insane to want that. Most people who are for defunding the police do not want to abolish the police. They do not want to get rid of the whole concept of law enforcement. What they want is a reallocation of funds and to diversify the role of police officers. Now, whether you hate or love, like, dislike cops, we can all agree that they are asked and expected to do way too much. They're expected to be in charge of all traffic violations. Any form of disruption, any form of public indecency, public anything that occurs in public that is negative, that is not health related, or a fire, the police are expected to handle the problem. To be able to expect one person to be trained to effectively deal with all the problems that could arise when their job is that vague is insane, and you're setting them up to be undertrained. To help the problem, what I feel like a lot of people want is for there to be new division. A division, these are some ideas that me and my friend kicked around during an argument about the matter. There would be about four divisions. One specifically for traffic and parking violations. Speeding tickets, parking mess ups, stuff like that. There'd be a division solely for that. The next one would be responsible for any vandalism, noise complaints, stuff of that matter. The third one would be responsible for people having a mental episode, public intoxication, anybody who is clearly not in the right mind state, who could pose harm to themselves or others around them because of their intoxication or mental disorder or illness. The fourth unit, and I should add before I continue, the first three units, or at the very most the first two, would not have guns. That may be a little extreme, but we would be sending them into low danger situations, and it would lower tensions between police officers and people in the city. If you know that when you get pulled over, or if you get a noise complaint, or anything of that matter, you know that the guy showing up does not have a gun. So instantly your fear is a little lowered, which could lead to a better interaction between the two parties, which is what we want at the end of the day. I think we could all agree. Better relations between police officers and citizens that they're sworn to protect and serve is a good thing, and we should work toward it. Now, Will they have like pepper spray and tasers? Of course, but there's no place for them to have a firearm. Now, they may not have it on their person, but they may carry it around in their vehicle. But there's no need for them to have it on their person. Now, the fourth unit would be specially tasked with violent crimes, and they would carry guns on their person. Now, you may think that's, and this would also be the smallest unit. Only 5% of calls made to the police could be categorized as a violent crime. So, the unit tasked with dealing with violent crimes would clearly be smaller. Now, making it smaller increases the selectivity of said unit. You can prioritize skill instead of you can prioritize quality over quantity. Instead of just pumping out new cops every week, every month, you can really take your time, find good cops with good nerves to deal and handle guns in communities. Because we want the best officers to have guns. Because at the end of the day, their skill, know-how, intelligence is what can determine whether or not somebody lives or dies. So I would want, and I feel like many of us would, want the best possible person being forced into that decision. If death can be avoided, it should be avoided. And that's what every civilized society should believe.